Hey, you bit stiff, that old Yorkshire geek. And welcome to. Doing a list. We're doing a list today. I'm done for a while, have I? So I thought I'll do a list. The list we're doing today is, as you know from the title, is 10 Stargate running gags that fans will never forget. We will see. See if I've forgotten any of them. I have looked at them, but I've forgotten. It's a while ago. It's not exactly a new article, this, by the way, but never mind. You know, evergreen content and all that stuff. This will be exclusive to my Patreon for I think 2 weeks, and then I'll upload it to YouTube after that, and make it available to everybody after that. Right, so let's have a look at this article. It's from Screen Rant. This list, should I say, written by Angel Short. Don't know if that's a man or a woman. I've no idea. But anyway, off we go. Here it is. There we go. Right, 10 Stargate running gags that fans will never forget, from blue jello and Simpsons references to hidden pineapples and the infamous magnets, big honking magnets. The Stargate franchise had several long-running jokes. Can we say has? Because when you say had, it kind of suggests that Stargate's gone and not coming back. And I want it to be coming back. Anyway, so there we go. Right. Never mind that bit. We'll get on with it. There are hundreds of episodes within the Stargate franchise. Yes, we had 10 seasons of SG1, 5 seasons of Atlantis, 2 seasons of Universe, and, 1 season of that cartoon, Stargate Infinity. Who cares about that one? There are hundreds of episodes within the Stargate franchise, and Stargate SG1 especially is full of gags and inside jokes. And don't forget the movies as well, 3 of those. 1 theatrical, 2 straight to DVD. And inside jokes that continue from beginning to end. The science fiction series was mostly serious in its themes, with parasitic alien races attempting to take over the galaxy, tragic deaths, and doomed relationships. Still, Stargate left plenty of room for fun. It's clear when looking at recurring props, references, and quirky character traits that the cast and crew enjoyed making the show just as much as we loved watching it. Noticing these subtle, though sometimes not so much, moments and jokes is the cherry on top of watching and rewatching Stargate. The longest running installment in the Stargate franchise is Stargate SG1, and this is where the majority of the best gags got their start. Overall, Stargate is full of outrageous concepts, so a certain amount of comedy is necessary to explain away aspects of the story that will never make much sense. By not taking itself too seriously, all the campy sci-fi goodness goes down a whole lot easier. This continued into Stargate Atlantis, Stargate Universe, to a lesser extent. It mellowed towards its end, and it was cancelled. It was just starting to get really good. But it started off too serious, did Universe, and it put a lot of fans off. Anyway, and other installments in the franchise, resulting in the reoccurring and long-running gags that make Stargate Stargate. Right, so off we go, starting with number 10. Jack O'Neill's obsession with The Simpsons. He had more than one obsession, to be completely honest. But let's see what it says. The Simpsons are frequently mentioned in Stargate SG1. This is Jack O'Neill, obviously from the series. This is not Kurt Russell. 2 L's. The one from the film, the Kurt Russell one, had 1 L in O'Neill. Jack O'Neill was among the Stargate franchise's best characters, and this has a lot to do with how believable he was as a real person, especially compared to the geniuses or aliens that frequented Stargate SG1. One of the more delightful aspects of Jack's character was his relatable love for The Simpsons, the real-world cartoon that got its start back in 1989. According to Stargate writer and producer Joseph Malozzi, actor Richard Dean Anderson was, as well as many of the show's other writers, truly were huge Simpsons fans, so references to the cartoon were thrown in as often as possible. Note, Richard Dean Anderson's and Jack's, by extension, love for The Simpsons ultimately inspired Dan Castellaneta to write an episode featuring a Stargate SG-1 convention in which Anderson cameoed. Oh. Do you mean write an episode of The Simpsons? I think that's what they mean. And don't forget, Dan Castellaneta appeared in an episode of Stargate SG-1. I forgot what they call it now. Where he played. It's a really good episode. I forgot what they called. Something Joe. What's it called now? I can't remember. Never mind. But that was a really good episode where he and Jack were linked because they'd both found communication stones, but they didn't know what they were. They were both linked to these communication stones. So they essentially shared each other's lives, essentially. So Dan Castellaneta's character, so they knew all this stuff about going through the Stargate and going on all these missions. He wrote them down in books and tried to get them published, and that ended up getting the attention of Stargate Command. Wanted to know how this fella knew all this classified information. And then by the end, it was funny because they said, "So if he was sharing your life, Jack, what you were sharing the life of this man who was a barber, this man's life as well. Why didn't you say anything?" And Jack just says, "It were kind of relaxing." So that was a great episode. What are it called now? What, like Our Man Joe, or it was something along those lines, but I can't remember exactly. Win Grace will tell me in the comments. Right, number 9, magnets became Stargate's explanation for everything because it's all magnets, or all done with matchboxes or mirrors. When in doubt, blame it on magnets. And there's, I don't know why they're showing that. Why are they showing this? They're showing what? Daniel Jackson. What is the matter with me today? Daniel Jackson and him dying. What's that got to do with magnets? I don't know. Maybe they put it in the wrong place. As a sci-fi series, Stargate was full of fantastical events presented as science. Of course, most of this was utterly nonsensical, which is precisely what you want from a series within the genre. Yeah, same with Star Trek. You know, people say, "Oh, Star Trek's often based on real science and they have science advisors." Yeah, but still a lot of it is nonsense. And they get away with it by using what's called technobabble, which is explanations which sound reasonable, but in real life, would just be gobbledygook. Anyway, um, though there are often ways that concepts such as wormhole travel can be backed up with real-world physics and logic, there are times that we have to enjoy the ridiculousness for what it is. In these cases, Stargate, especially Jack, obviously, would use magnets as the answer for everything. It's a sort of meta, self-aware way for the series to say, "Yeah, we don't know either. Just roll with it." I think there was one episode where they were talking about something, and Jack suddenly went, "Magnets," and they went, "Yes," and he went, I knew that had happened one day. I knew I'd get it right one day," or something like that. That was funny. Right, number 8, the Wizard of Oz references galore. That's something I don't think I've noticed, to be honest, apart from this obvious one in episode 200. But anyway, I have a feeling we aren't in Kansas anymore. The only real similarity between Stargate and the Wizard of Oz is the concept of traveling from one world to another, and that was enough to keep a running gag going throughout Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and Stargate Universe. Though this started with the typical cliche of Toto, "I have a feeling we aren't in Kansas anymore," it ultimately evolved into references and quotes around every corner from various characters. You know what? I don't think I've ever noticed them because Wizard of Oz references are everywhere, aren't they? You know, that one, "We're not in Kansas anymore," flying monkeys, etc. They're used in everything, aren't they? So I don't think I've never noticed them in Stargate, to be honest. Anyway. In the 200th episode of Stargate SG-1, the cast even got to get all dressed up as characters from The Wizard of Oz. This was when Valor were trying to sell a story to Martin, the alien producer chap. And it turned out she was just telling the story of The Wizard of Oz. Number 7, Peter DeLuise's clever Stargate cameos. Even Teal'c's candles were in on the Peter DeLuise cameos. And we've got some images. So we'll look at these before we write. That's not Peter DeLuise, though, is it? Is that his brother? I think. I could be wrong. But anyway. That's Peter DeLuise. That is. Maybe that other one was as well. I don't know, to be honest. I can't remember. So there we go. He appeared in it a lot. I don't know about the candles. I'm sure we'll learn about that. I thought that was one of the other DeLuises. There's several. Even Dom appeared in it as a character I didn't really like. But anyway. Actor and writer Peter DeLuise was heavily involved in creating Stargate SG-1 and appeared as a wide variety of background characters throughout the series. Most of these were negligible, and it's possible he also played Creepy Pete. I think that was Peter DeLuise, or was that the other one? There's that many DeLuises, I don't know which is which. Win Grace, I'll know. That's my go-to backup. Win Grace will know. Most of these were negligible, and it's possible for someone to make it all the way through the 10 seasons of Stargate SG-1 without ever noticing him. However, when you know what to look for, it's easy to spot DeLuise everywhere. Malotzi even pointed out on his blog that in the scene in which Teal'c sits in meditation, a group of his candles had been arranged to spell out PDL, DeLuise's initials. Right, and I have to look at this now. Where? Or did it mean from above? It just looks like that from above, because I can't see it there. It might mean from above. There we go. I thought there were two DeLuises. I'm going to have to look it up now. Right, so just bear with me. I'm recording this as live. I'm not editing it. Let's have a look. How did the DeLuises get involved in Stargate? Yeah, there's David DeLuise. Oh, it was David DeLuise that played Creepy Pete. Peter DeLuise, who were more involved with the series, and of course Dom appeared as Ergo. I never liked that. Well, I can't say I didn't like it. It's one that I generally skip. But I can't say I don't like it. It is fun episode. I'm not a big fan of Dom DeLuise, to be completely honest. But anyway, here it's Peter DeLuise that does producing and directing. I think some writing as well. And David appeared as Creepy Pete. But there we go. But don't ask me which is which, because they all look a bloody like to me, apart from Dom. Right, anyway, number 6. Stargate Command's famous blue Jello. There's always plenty of Jello to eat at the SGC. Jello, as in what we call in the UK, jelly. I think Jello a brand name. I mean, it could be. Right, really, it's not just blue Jello. The dessert, that says desert, unbelievable. Hashtag proofreading, thing of the past. The dessert is served in abundance in several colours. It's an American site. I'll let that one slide. In both the Stargate Command and Atlantis' mess halls, the characters can't seem to get enough of it, and the blue Jello especially stands out as an odd choice for a repeated snack. Malotzi states in his blog that he has no idea why this trend ever got started in SG-1, and that it seemed to be something the props department put together for a bit of fun. Well, this is it. That's what they do, don't they? They do something and then just keep doing it just for the laugh. And it's kind of a nice bit of continuity as well. It's nice for fans to notice it in it. Oh, they're eating the blue Jello again. Ultimately, the SGC's love for Jello was even acknowledged by the characters, with Teal'c once suggesting that he and Jack O'Neill visit a place on Earth rumoured to feature battles within a pool of the stuff. Yes. Dear. Number 5, Jonas Quinn's love for snacks. Jonas Quinn's famous banana is a character all of its own. Hashtag justice for Jonah. Whatever, Jonas. That's who's Jonah. Justice for Jonas. And there he is. Let's look at some pictures of Jonas Quinn. He's got a banana there. There he is with his groovy hairdo when he popped back in later in the run. He appeared in season 5, didn't he? He was in season 5. I think it was the episode where Daniel Jackson, spoilers, died. He stayed on Earth. He took over Daniel Jackson's role in season 6. And then when Michael, what's his face? Why am I blanking? Wanted to come back. He basically just got thrown out, didn't he? So that's why I was saying justice for Jonas. But anyway, and I met him at a convention. He's really nice. There he is. Not showing many snacks in these photos, are there? Anyway, unbelievable. Right, one of the greatest lovers of the SGC's Jello is Jonas Quinn. Of course, he's a fan of really any food, as seen throughout Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis. Quinn was often enjoying a snack, even when it seemed strange to have one, i.e. the banana scene in Stargate Atlantis. You know what? I don't remember him being in Stargate Atlantis. Windgrace will know. This character quirk has been revealed to be the work of actor Corin Nemec, who used food as a trademark bit throughout the series. Like Jack and his love for The Simpsons, this made Quinn an even more lovable character, allowing him to be relatable despite his otherworldly genius. I don't know what to say. Had an otherworldly genius. He was just clever and good at his job. And he kind of had a photographic memory, sort of, but not really. But you find that a lot in Stargate characters. They're always saying, "I've read the file," and there's like millions of files at, at Stargate Command. How can they memorize them all? But anyway, never mind. Right, number 4, Teal'c's indeed catchphrase. This is the most famous one. This should be number 1, to be completely honest. Teal'c's go-to answer grew into so much more in the Stargate franchise. Yes, it is. It's a meme. It's a meme. Teal'c's formal and seemingly emotionless way of speaking. It's not emotionless. It's just precise. It's a bit like Spock in that way, isn't it? Probably deliberately so. Is used to drive home the fact that he isn't a human, but it also serves to add an element of comedy to his character. Still, it doesn't seem that Teal'c's catchphrase of "indeed" was meant to be funny initially, but it eventually evolved into the character's own running joke of Stargate SG-1. The character responded with this single word so often that it became endearing, and according to Malotzi, actor Christopher Judge began adding the word where it hadn't been scripted. This opened the door to some great comedy, especially when Teal'c answered "indeed" to juxtapose a scene's mood. Yes, I'd say the way his manner of speech, was amusing, but undomesticated equines could not stop me from this, that sort of thing. That's how he used to speak. And it was great, and he's a great character, and I hope he comes back. Stargate Atlantis episode midway got a Teal'c guest starring in it. The best ever episode of Stargate Atlantis, in my opinion. Right, number 3, Stargate SG-1's giant wrench. The go-to tool to fix the Stargate was a comically large wrench, and there it is, with Sergeant Siler. He's got a photo of me, the actor, whose name bloody escaped me, at a Stargate convention. He just came up to me and took a selfie with me. I've never seen the bloody photo. He hasn't put it on his page or anything, his Instagram, or out like that. Anyway, the giant wrench is another background feature of Stargate that could be missed on the first watch, but once it's noticed, it's hard to unsee. The comically huge tool is the answer to what sort of equipment will be necessary to fix alien technology, with no real explanation as to what on the Stargate the wrench would loosen or tighten. Well, huge bolts, nuts and bolts, obviously. Such as maybe that one there. It's typically donned by Stargate Fight Coordinator Dan Shea, that's his name, who doubles as an SGC maintenance worker. His Sergeant Siler is essentially the chief engineer of Stargate Command. He's not just an SGC maintenance worker. He's the Scotty of Stargate. Unbelievable in Stargate. Yes. So if you're watching this, Dan, I want to see that selfie you took with me at where were it at now? It were at Leicester Football Club. I can't remember the name of the ground. At the Stargate convention, I was queuing up, waiting outside, and he just came up, took a selfie, walked off. I was like, "What?" Right, number 2, the mystery of Jack O'Neill's mug. There was always something floating in Jack O'Neill's coffee, and there he is checking it out. I'm going to see several of these now. Probably not. No, that's him eating. Is it rice pudding or mashed potato or something? No idea. There is. It's just had a drink, and that looks, maybe it's a bit hot. Is this the one where they've got superpowers and Teal'c's drinking his out of the pot, drinking his coffee? So isn't that hot? Extremely, because they get superpowers, don't they? For an episode. There we go. Lots of Jello. Sam's enjoying the blue Jello, obviously. They're all eating. This might be that same episode because they've got to keep the metabolism up, so they're eating all high energy foods. So that could be the same one. And that's just a pose. Right. While other characters were eating Jello, Stargate SG-1's Jack O'Neill was likely giving a disgusted glance down into his mug. This started early in the series when Jack was tiredly drinking coffee in the mess hall and seemed to notice something strange in his mug. It's never mentioned precisely what he saw floating there, probably an alien life form, or an entire civilization, like Lisa made in The Simpsons in a petri dish. But it made a frequent reappearance in it since any time O'Neill had a mug, he went through the same routine of squinting down into it and attempting to fish the mysterious thing out. So they could do a Stargate series about the civilization living in Jack's mug, and Jack is God staring down at them. No, no, never mind. Number one, the hidden pineapples of the SGC. Now, I didn't know about this until I read this. So this is something I didn't know about. I'm sure Windgrace knows. Can you spot all the hidden pineapples in Stargate? I'm going to have to start watching it. I am. I'm going to have to start watching it again. Any Stargate episode directed by Will Waring will likely have a pineapple hidden within the SGC. All right, so I'll just spot the episodes directed by him. These are typically a little trickier to spot than blue jello or giant wrenches, often hidden within Daniel Jackson's equipment, among the tables of food in the mess hall. Excuse me. Or sometimes even placed out in the open on other planets. According to Malott, Waring has used pineapples as a calling card ever since one of his first productions, when he put the fruit in the back window of a car as a joke before shooting a car chase scene. He forgot to remove it, and the fruit ended up in the film's final cut. From then on, especially in Stargate, the director always had a pineapple ready for shooting. And there we go, that's the end. That's the end. Oh, about the author. Angel Shaw, Senior Core Features Writer. I want to know if it's a fella or a woman. Let's have a look. They're going to show us. Hang on. Never mind. Never mind. Right, so we'll leave it there. So that were interesting. 10 little things that you see in Stargate a lot, and they could have done 10 more others. Maybe there is another 10 Stargate running gags, because the Stargate's full of them. It's an amazing series, and I hope it comes back. Amazon, are you listening? There we go. Right, so we'll leave it there. I'll get rid of that. Right, so thanks for watching. As I said, this video is going to be exclusive to Patreon for a couple of weeks, and then I'll upload it to YouTube after that. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll see you.